You know, some films, they don't just entertain you. They really stir up deep conversations, challenge how things are. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a film that's done exactly that.
That's right. We're talking about Dhadak too. It's a Bollywood film, and it's really ignited some significant discussions.
Yeah, by tackling caste-based discrimination, right? Which
Yeah.
is sensitive, often overlooked, certainly in mainstream cinema.
Precisely. In modern India, it's a courageous move.
Okay, so our mission here in this deep dive is really to get past the headlines. We want to understand what makes this film tick.
Yeah, we've gathered quite a bit reviews, interviews with the director, Shazia Iqbal, and the leads, Siddhant Chaturvedi and Tripti Dimri, even production notes.
So if you're looking for like a shortcut to really grasp why Dhadak 2 is such a big deal, maybe a complicated one, but significant, well, you're in the right place. All right, let's start by setting the scene. Dhadak 2 came out August 1st, 2025. Shazia Iqbal directing, Siddhant Chaturvedi, Tripti Dimri starring. Dharma Productions involved. But this isn't just another Bollywood romance, is it? What kind of makes it different right off the bat?
Well, what's really interesting is its background. Okay, so technically it's a spiritual sequel to the doc from 2018.
Right.
But its actual roots, its true lineage, is as a Hindi remake of a Tamil film from 2018 called Periyaram Perumal, a really acclaimed film.
Ah, okay. So that's a key difference.
And the director's core intention, she's been clear about this, was to take a really bold stand on caste discrimination, social stratification in India today, aiming high, with a gritty plot.
So it is a love story, but the setting is rustic, culturally specific, not the usual glamour.
Exactly. It's set in a fictionalized Bhopal, mainly in a law college.
Okay, and that's where we meet the main characters.
Yes. Neelesh Ahirwar, he's a law student from a scheduled caste background from Shivaji Nagar. The term often used is Dalit.
Right, indicating historically marginalized groups.
And then there's a Vidhi Bardwaj, his classmate, who comes from a privileged upper caste background.
And their love story. I'm guessing it doesn't go smoothly.
No, it gets tangled up very quickly in caste politics, injustice, painful truths.
So this brings up a question then. Why is it considered so brave for a mainstream Bollywood film, like one under the Dharma banner, to tackle this subject so directly?
Well, the film's bravery, I think, is in how it just doesn't look away from the harsh reality.
It's unflinching.
Very. Neelesh. He's the first in his Dalit family to even go to college, let alone law school, but he's constantly painfully reminded of his place.
How so?
The film explicitly shows him being humiliated, shoved around. There's even a scene where he's literally urinated on.
Wow, that's intense.
And his reluctance, his difficulty even saying his own surname, Ahirwar, just speaks volumes about the pressure, the sort of internalized shame society imposes.
It paints such a stark picture, even in a modern setting like a law college.
Absolutely. And then you have Vidhi's journey, raised by a liberal father, apparently.
So she starts off maybe naive.
Kind of a curious bystander, yeah. But then she falls for Neelesh and has to confront her own upbringing, her own conditioning.
That sounds compelling. Facing your own family's biases.
Exactly. Some reviews mention scenes where Vidhi confronts her family about their casteism. They said these scenes will make you cackle with anger.
That suggests a really powerful, maybe uncomfortable portrayal.
Definitely. And the film doesn't just keep it fictional. It connects these events to chilling real-life tragedies.
Like what?
Like a recent honor killing in Chennai involving caste, and it draws direct parallels to the Rohit Vimula case.
The PhD student, the Dalit rights activist.
Yes, who died by suicide after his fellowship was stopped. These references, they give the film this palpable sense of urgency, poignancy.
So it broadens the scope beyond just the central romance.
Right, it touches on classism, feminism, even gender identities through some subplots.
And what about the supporting cast? You mentioned it's an ensemble.
Crucial performances there too. Sarab Sachdeva plays Shankar, described as this eerie, cold-blooded vigilante character.
A vigilante, how does that fit in?
He apparently operates sort of parallel to the main story until their paths cross in a chilling way, a unique kind of antagonist.
Interesting. And Neelesh's family.
We see his mother, reviewers noted her effective performance, and his father. His job is as a cross-dresser dancer, which is shown as a source of shame for the family.
And Vidhi's family.
They paint a complex picture, too. There's a violent cousin, a newly married sister who just embodies traditional expectations. It shows how pervasive these societal norms are.
So a lot going on around the main characters. What's the verdict on the leads themselves? Siddhant Chaturvedi and Tripti Dimri.
The consensus seems to be that this is one of Siddhant Chaturvedi's most layered performances, really capturing Neelish's helplessness but also his gradual defiance.
And Tripti Dimri as Vidi.
Also getting a lot of praise, a fresh portrayal. Now, interestingly, some reviews did say their romantic chemistry maybe fell a bit flat.
Oh, that's surprising for a love story, even a difficult one.
Yeah, but their individual performances, widely acclaimed. For the depth, the vulnerability they brought, real power there.
Let's talk about the director, Shazia Iqbal. You mentioned her name. She deserves a lot of credit for navigating this.
Immense credit. And her background is interesting. She trained as an architect, not in film.
Really? How did she get into directing that?
Through art direction, initially. Then her short film, Dhadak, won international awards, and that sort of paved the way for Dhadak too.
So coming from that background, how did she approach remaking Periyaram Perumal and tackling caste?
Well, connecting the dots from interviews, she definitely didn't want to just do a simple remake. She spoke about infusing her own voice.
Her own perspective.
Yes, and addressing issues. Hindi cinema often avoids things like identity, the subtle, everyday embarrassments linked to caste.
And how did she work with the actors?
Her process involved really getting into their psychology, aiming for extreme realism. They shot in actual localities in Bhopal, like Bimnagar, not on sets.
That adds authenticity.
For sure, even tiny details, like apparently Neelish wears a shirt that cost only $100 just to maintain that realism.
But making a film like this, under a big banner like Dharma, that must have challenges, right? Especially with censorship.
Huge challenges. Reports mention significant issues with the CBFC, the censor board, leading to 16 cuts described as anti-caste cuts.
16 cuts. Wow, what kind of things were cut?
Things like specific caste slurs, even a particular poem. The director herself called the process of fighting for every scene, every word, emotionally difficult.
I can imagine. So how does a filmmaker even navigate that, tackling such a sensitive topic in the mainstream Hindi industry?
It's tough. The director noted that, unlike, say, Tamil cinema, where films like Periyaram Perumal originated, the Hindi mainstream maybe isn't as equipped or used to cast challenging films.
So there was resistance.
Some online trolling, definitely, people complaining about too much cast. But importantly, the producers seem to have backed her vision.
And that's crucial.
Yes, ensuring the core message wasn't totally diluted despite the cuts and the pushback. Her goal, she said, wasn't to preach, but to hold up a mirror, start a conversation.
Okay, so it got made, it got released. How did it land with critics overall? You mentioned praise, but also issues.
It was definitely a mixed bag, leaning positive, but with strong criticisms too.
What were the main positives?
Widely praised as brave, urgent, very direct in how it addressed casteism, the performances, as we said.
And the criticisms.
Some found the narrative a bit over-explained, like it felt more like an explainer on caste issues rather than a fully lived-in story.
Telling instead of showing, perhaps.
Maybe a bit of that for some critics. Others found the ending, well, after nearly 2.5 hours of pretty relentless trauma for the characters, they found the ending maybe powerful but hollow, or even a bit too good to be true, like it softened the blow perhaps too much at the very end.
I see. And there was also a critique about the Dharma gloss.
Yes, that the typical polish associated with Dharma productions maybe muted some of the original Tamil film's rawness, made it a bit too sleek, perhaps, for the subject matter.
And that title, Dhadak too, that caused some friction too, didn't it?
It really did. Because the first Dhadak was itself a remake of Sarat, another film about caste and honor killing, but many felt Dhadak kind of watered down Sarat's impact.
Right.
So calling this much more direct film, Dhadak 2, some critics called it reductive and tone-deaf, like creating a caste oppression franchise, which sounds jarring.
Yeah, that's an awkward framing. An interesting marketing choice for such a serious film.
Definitely a choice that sparked debate.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, the music. Bollywood soundtracks are often huge. How did Dhadak 2's music fare?
Well, the soundtrack itself has some good songs, different composers involved, but it didn't really hit the same way the music for the first Dhadak did, which was very popular.
Why not?
More strikingly, it seems several tracks were just underutilized in the actual film.
Like they were on the album but barely in the movie?
Exactly.
Right.
The title song, Bas Ek Dhadak, hardly featured. A song called Dunya Alag, described as beautiful, was apparently just played over the end credits.
Oh.
And the director's personal favorite track, To Marry Dhadak Hai, was completely left out of the film altogether.
That feels like a huge missed opportunity, doesn't it? to use the music to boost the emotion.
Absolutely. Critics pointed that out. Having good tracks and then marginalizing them or cutting them, it felt counterintuitive, especially for a film trying to land such a strong emotional, social message.
Almost like another internal struggle the film faced.
You could say that.
So, okay, mixed reviews, title controversy, music issues. But what about the overall impact beyond the critics? Did it find an audience? Was it financially viable?
Well, here's an interesting point. Despite those challenges, the film apparently achieved what's called an on-table recovery.
Meaning?
Meaning its deal with the streaming platform covered its costs. So whatever it made in cinemas was essentially profit.
Ah, okay. So for a smaller budget film tackling a tough subject, that's actually pretty significant, isn't it?
It's very significant. It suggests that this kind of authentic, maybe risky storytelling can be commercially viable, perhaps through these streaming deals. It potentially paves the way for more films like it.
That stability allows the message to reach people.
Exactly. And the director's hope, it sounds quite profound. She said, if even a few people watch it and reflect on the idea that love is above caste, class, or identity, then their work is done.
That puts it in perspective.
And it maybe points to a broader shift, hopefully a positive one, in the industry. You have people considered outsiders, Siddhant, Tripti, Shazia herself, getting these major opportunities.
And authentic content starting to matter more.
Potentially. Maybe more than just traditional star power.
So when you pull it all together, Dhadak 2 really does feel like more than just a movie. It's a statement, isn't it? A reflection, maybe a catalyst.
A catalyst for conversations, certainly. Conversations that need to happen, extending way beyond the cinema.
This whole deep dive into Dhadak 2, it really highlights how a film can do so much more than just entertain. It acts like a mirror, right?
Yeah.
Reflecting these urgent social issues, sparking difficult but really necessary conversations.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the power of storytelling, how art can actually challenge perceptions that are so deeply ingrained.
Even when facing pressure from the industry, from society.
Exactly.
As we've talked about, this film, it pushes boundaries.
Yeah.
It directly confronts casteism, its brutal realities right now in modern India. It really asks you, the viewer, to look beyond the surface, to question your own assumptions maybe, and consider perspectives that might be uncomfortable but are just vital for understanding the world. So thinking about films like Dhadak 2 and their place, what do you believe is the actual responsibility of mainstream cinema when society is grappling with these deep, deep social issues? Is its main job just to entertain? Or should it enlighten? Or should it be trying to provoke real change? And maybe, how do you think Dhadak 2, with all its complexities, measures up in that equation?